Good morning, dear students. How are you doing today? I hope everything is all right. I hope that you keep on revising your lessons and studying as hard as possible during this time. Welcome back. Today, I have another lesson to share. We are working on Unit 8 today, and we will see a grammar lesson, which is the past simple tense. The past simple tense. So let's get started. We have some slides to illustrate the past simple test and the tense, and then we do an activity or an exercise which is on the book, and then we proceed all together. So let's get started, please. Okay, so as I told you before, the title of our lesson is the past simple tense. The past simple tense. Okay, as you can see here in this slide, we have two. We have two cases. We have the first one and the second one. So the first one is irregular and the second one is regular. So today, I'm going to give you just one example of irregular verbs, but we are not going to study them today. We will just focus on the regular verbs. So today we will see the regular verbs only in this lesson. So, as I said, regular verbs and irregular verbs. So let's read the sentence, please. The sentence that has to do with irregular verbs here. So we have Sarah went to school. In this sentence here, we have subject plus verb. Okay, so Sarah is the subject, and we have went plus verb. So what is went? Went is a verb, and which verb is the verb to go? Is the verb to go. So as you can see here, we have a total change of this verb when it comes to the present and the past. We say, I go to school, this is present. And we say, I went to school yesterday when I'm talking about the past. So went is go in the past. So do we have a rule here? No, we don't have a rule. We don't have a rule. So what do we have? We have a list to remember. We have a list to remember. So in English, we have a list of verbs which are from infinitive to simple past to past participle, and we got to remember them by practice and by revision. So today we're not going to see all this part here. So we will focus just on regular verbs. Today we will see just regular verbs. This irregular verbs or these irregular verbs are another lesson. So regular verbs here, let's look at this sentence. As again, here we have the students, which is the subject, and we have worked, which is the verb. Okay, so let's go and have a look here. So as I told you, this is go, which is went, and here we have the students worked hard last exam. What does it mean? It is verb plus what? Plus D or ED or IED. As you can see here, what do we have here? Worked. The verb is work. The verb is work plus what? Plus ED. All right. So that's why we say the students worked hard last exam. So as I can see here, we have a time expression, which is last, So this is what? This is past. I'm talking about the past, not the present, not about now, not about future. It's about the simple past. That's why I use last exam. So the students worked hard last exam. I repeat, today we are studying the past simple test, the past simple tense, which is taken from Unit 8 on the student book, and we shall focus just on irregular, on just regular verbs, no irregular verbs. We're not going to see irregular verbs today. So as I said, we have a sentence, we have the subject plus verb plus what? D, ed, ied. And as I told you, this is what? This is the rule. This is the rule of what? Of regular. This is the rule of regular verbs. Verb plus D or ed or ied. So let me give you some examples now. Let's have, for example, the verb to walk. The verb to walk. So I say I want to talk about walking. So say I walked. I walked to school. I walked to school yesterday. And let's take another verb. For example, let's take the verb cry here. Cry. So what is cry? Here we have she. She, for example, cry, and then we have here why. So when we have why, we omit it and we add ing. So we say she cried yesterday, yesterday. So we're always talking about the past here. So, and we have, let's take another example. Let's take the verb, for example, live. They lived in Paris, for example. They lived in Paris last. They lived in Paris. So what do we have here? We have, what do we have here? We have ed or ied or just d. When do we have ed with normal verbs? We have ied with what? With y plus consonant. When we have y plus consonant, like for example, this is what? This is a consonant, and this is y. So what do? We omit the y and we add ied. So let's take another example here. We have d here, and what is the verb? The verb is live. So with live we have e, and this e cannot or doesn't accept another e to be added. So that's why I just add d. So what is the rule here? Is subject plus d, ed, ied. For example, here we have the verb with k, so I add ed. And if we have y, I add ied. And if we have just d, if we have just e, we add another d. So that was the past simple of regular verbs, as I told you. Of regular verbs, we have the form. What is the form? The form is subject plus, the form is subject plus what? Plus verb plus d or ed or ied or ied. So this is what? This is the form of what? Of regular verbs. Of regular verbs. And today we're not going to see irregular verbs. We are not going to see irregular verbs. We will see them another time. I just put them here to have an idea about what we say. So let's go next. Here we have three sentences, as I told you, three sentences with examples of three verbs, with a verb with ed, another verb with ied, and another verb with the. So if this is clear, let's proceed to another slide and see the three forms that we may have in the past simple. So when we talk about every tense, we talk about three things. We talk about positive and negative and question form. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at what we have here. I give you two sentences. About each form. The positive form here, we say the boy stayed at home yesterday. What is the verb? The verb is stayed, of course. What do we have here? We have ed, but someone would ask me the question, why do we have ed and we have y here? Because we have, very simply, because we have consonant, because we don't have consonant, because we have vowel. So when we have vowel, we just add ed like all normal verbs. So let's take, for example, the verb play here. The verb play, just as an example, what do we have? We have y, but we have here vowel. So I say I played. We don't say I played with ied, but just I played with ed. So just that was just an example. So let's proceed now. So the verb is stayed. The boy stayed at home yesterday. I'm talking about yesterday, so that's past. So what is the verb here? Verb plus ed. And let's take another example. The boy who was sad last night. So if you still remember in our lesson last time about the grammar, it was about was, wasn't, were, weren't. So which verb is this? This is the verb to be. This is the verb to be. The boy was sad last night. I give you these two examples to see the two possible forms that we have in the past tense. So that was stay. What is stay? Stay is a verb, and we have to be. Okay, we have stay, which is a verb, and we have to be. Let's go to the negative form. The negative form of the first sentence is the boy did not stay. What do you notice here? We have stay, it's infinitive. But we have did plus what? Plus not. Did plus not. So what is the form? The negative form is did plus not plus infinitive. did plus not plus infinitive. And this one, for example, this one can be a contraction. When we say didn't with an apostrophe between N and T. So that's why we say the boy did not stay at home yesterday. What is the form? Did plus not plus infinitive. So let's go back and see the next example. The boy was not sad last night. So this is negative and this is negative. But here in this negative form, we don't have didn't. Do we have didn't here? We don't have didn't. Why is that? We don't have didn't because the verb is to be. And when the verb is to be, it can be positive, it can be negative itself. So what do we say? Was, and I place not, as we have seen last time in the previous lesson. So the boy was not sad last night. I didn't use didn't, I just use was plus not. So if this is clear, let's proceed and see how to do or how to form the question form in English. So the sentence is did plus what? Plus the boy. What is the boy? Is a subject plus stay. So what is the form? The form is did plus what? Plus subject plus infinitive, of course. Plus infinitive. And of course, here for a question mark, we have a question mark here. I forget to put it under just period. So did the boy stay at home last night? So this is what? This is did plus subject plus, this is did plus subject plus infinitive. So let's go back and see how it works with just the verb, with the verb to be. With the verb to be, do we have did? We don't have did. We don't have did. We have just was plus what? Plus the subject. Of course, plus question mark. So that was what? That was the positive form, the negative form, and the question form. The question form. So let's go back and see what we have here. As I told you, we are working, as I told you, dear students, we are working on the simple past of regular verbs. We are working on regular verbs today. So today we're working on regular verbs. We will see how, we have seen how to form the regular verbs. It is subject plus verb plus d, ed, ied, and we have some examples here of verbs that can be used with ed or ied or just d. And here on this slide, we have the three forms that we have in the simple past, and I pretend to give you a verb and the verb to be, a verb which is stay, and the verb to be, okay, because the verb to be is an exception. What is the exception? It doesn't take did not, and it doesn't take did for the question form. So if this is clear, let's proceed and see. So as I told you, this is to be in the infinitive. What is it? It's was, as I told you. And this is, what is did? Did is very simply the verb to do in the past, the verb to do in the past simple, and here it is an auxiliary which we use to form the sentence or the question. So please, let's proceed now. Here we have, as I told you, this was, it can be were, singular or plural. This is singular and this is plural here. And this is do. What is do is did, and what is did is the simple past of do, and it functions as an auxiliary here. So let's proceed and see. If this is clear, now we have an exercise. This exercise is taken from the book. It's taken from Unit 8. Unit 8. It's exercise number 4 on page 95. So this photo or this picture is taken from the book. This extract is taken from the book. If you want to work with me using the book, you can just take your books and go to page 95, and it is exercise 4. So before we do it, what do we have here? We have put in did, didn't. Of course, this is positive and this is negative. Was, wasn't. This is positive, this is negative. Of what? Of singular form. And we have were, weren't. This is positive, this is negative. Of course, plural. This is singular and this is plural, as we have seen in the last lesson. So put in did, didn't, was, wasn't, were, weren't. So what do we have here? We have an exercise. We have a conversation between two people. We have Ahmed and we have Lucy. So we got to fill in the blanks. We did, didn't, was, wasn't, were, weren't. As I told you, when we have a verb, we use did or didn't when we have a verb in the sentence or in the question. But when we don't have a verb, we use to be, which is we used to be, which is was, and which is was and were, wasn't or weren't. So here when we have no verb in the sentence. Here when we have a verb and here when we don't have a verb. So this conversation I think is about an earthquake which hit Husseima in 2004. The conversation is between two people, Ahmed and Lucy. So, as I told you, I want to remind you today we are working on the simple past regular form. We have seen how to form the regular form of the simple past, and it is subject plus verb plus d or ed or ing. And we have seen the three forms. Let's go back with the slides. So, I said we're working on the grammar simple tense, regular verbs. We're working on regular verbs. Okay, we have seen how to form the regular verb using subject plus verb plus d, ed, ing, and that's this in this slide here we have three possible examples of verbs that can take ed, ing, or d. And here we have the positive form, the negative form, and the question form of both of two sentences. The first sentence, which take a verb, and the second sentence, which is to be, because we have a difference. The verb to be don't or doesn't, the verb to be doesn't take didn't or did when we talk about questions. But other verbs, they take do, they take did when it comes to question form or negative form. So here, as I told you, the boy was sad last night. What is was is to be singular form because we have, if we have plural here, we say the boys were sad last night. And what is the origin of do? What is the origin of did is do. As you can see here, do is did in what? In simple past. And this one here is positive, singular, and this is plural. It's infinitive. So let's go back to our exercise. Here we are. So let's try together to fill in the blanks with the correct auxiliary or verb. So we have did, didn't, was, wasn't, were, weren't. Ahmed, you watched Sky News channel last night? What do we have here? If we have a verb, we use did or didn't. If you don't have a verb, we use was, wasn't, were, weren't. In this sentence here, what can you see? We have a verb. We have watch. This is a verb. And we have a question mark. So what is it? It's a question. This is a question. So we have a verb and it is a question. So what do we use automatically? It's did. It's did. Did you watch Sky News channel last night? No. Here we're talking about what? No, what? Not watching. So negative form. Negative form automatically we have a verb watch. I didn't. So we say I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't watch. Negative form. Short form say I didn't. Why? I didn't. Why? They, Ahmed said, they showed a documentary about Al Husseima earthquake. Oh, they showed what? A documentary. This is an earthquake here. This is an earthquake. It's a natural disaster which hit Husseima in 2004. So they showed a documentary about Al Husseima earthquake. Oh, when? And we have here the verb. Which verb is this? Occur, happen. When? Happen. So we have a verb and it's a question. So we use what? We use did. We use did. So what do we say here? When did it occur? Ahmed said, it occurred. That's why I answer with ed, as you can see here. It occurred on February the 24th, 2004. How big? The question here is how big. But here, as you can see, dear students, we don't have any verb. That's why we use to be. So what do we say? How big? I'm talking about 2004. So how big was it? How big was it? And it is singular. That's why we use was. So how big was it? 6.3 on the Richter scale. On the Richter scale. So next one here. There are many victims. I'm talking about victims, which is plural, and we don't have any verbs. No verbs here, so we use plural. So we use were, and this is a question, so we say were. Were there many victims? Were there many victims? Ahmed said at least 600 people died and more than 400 injured. The earthquake, powerful. Again, powerful is an adjective here. So we don't have a verb. When we don't have a verb and earthquake is singular, we use was. Okay, automatically it's was. The earthquake is the subject. So the earthquake was powerful. The earthquake was powerful. What a pity. What a pity. Foreign countries, plural, and agencies offer help. Offer. Offer is the verb, so we use did. We use did. What a pity. What a pity did foreign countries and agencies offer help to the victims. Yeah, the rescue workers didn't stop. We have stop, so negative. Didn't stop their search for the victims until they were, no verb, so they were sure there any other missing people. There weren't. Again, we don't have a verb here, so we place weren't. There weren't any missing people. It's plural here. It's plural here. So, dear students, that was the lesson of the simple past tense regular form. We have seen how to form the past simple tense using d, ed, ied plus subject, and we have seen the three forms: positive, negative, and question. And at the end, we have seen an activity which is taken directly from the book. So thank you so much for your attention, and see you in the coming lesson, and goodbye.